Have you ever been told you're maybe a little too quiet or even antisocial? Well, today we're going to dive into the psychology behind preferring your own company. And trust me, it is probably not what you think. It's a trait that's so widely misunderstood, but we are about to look at it in a completely new light. This right here, this flips the entire script. The idea that a preference for solitude isn't about running away from the world, but actually about how deeply you're engaging with it, well, that changes everything. It suggests a whole different way of experiencing reality itself.
So let's just think about that for a second. What if those labels, antisocial, shy, unfriendly, what if they're completely missing the mark? What if instead they're just masking this incredibly active inner world, a sign of some serious cognitive work happening right beneath the surface?
And look, this isn't about saying one way is better than another, being outgoing or being reserved. Nope, this is about giving you a new framework, a new lens to understand yourself. It's about looking at your own habits and finally recognizing the hidden strengths inside them. Okay, so let's get specific. Let's break down 3 really common behaviors that are almost always misinterpreted. And for each one, we're going to uncover the psychological strength that's actually at play. The classic dilemma, right? A loud, packed party versus a peaceful night in. To anyone on the outside, your choice to stay home might just look like you're being distant, maybe even a little boring. But what's really going on inside your head is so much more complex. So yeah, the common misinterpretation is that you're avoidant, maybe you're anxious, or you just don't like fun. But the psychological reality, it points to something else entirely. This isn't about fear, it's about managing your energy. Psychologists have a term for this: high sensory processing sensitivity. Think of it like this. Your brain is like a high-fidelity microphone, while most people's are standard. You pick up everything: the faint music, the shifting lights, the subtle changes in people's expressions, the energy in the room. It's not avoidance, it's just selective processing to keep from getting completely overloaded. That's not a weakness, it's a highly sensitive strength. All right, let's move on to sign number 2. Picture yourself in a group. While everyone else is rushing to fill every silent pause with chatter, you're perfectly fine just listening, observing. And again, this gets misunderstood all the time. People might look at you and assume you're disconnected, that you're not engaged, or worse, that you have absolutely nothing to add. But the truth is, while it's quiet on the outside, your mind is going a mile a minute. You're not disengaged at all. You're deeply engaged in processing everything that's happening. In psychology, this is connected to something called intrinsic stimulation. It's really just a fancy way of saying your mind is so good at creating its own entertainment, making connections, analyzing things, that it doesn't need a constant barrage of outside noise to stay busy. Your nervous system is simply prioritizing observation over reaction. And this brings us to our third and final pillar: focusing on the quality of your social life, not the quantity. I mean, does small talk feel physically draining to you, but a real deep conversation leaves you feeling totally energized? Yeah, there's a reason for that. The lazy assumption is that you're antisocial, that you just don't like people. But the reality is that your brain is highly sensitive to meaning, not volume. You're just wired to look for real substance in your connections with others.
So here's the crucial point. Your brain is using this preference as an incredibly powerful filter. It's constantly scanning for meaningful information to avoid getting drowned in, well, cognitive clutter. It's not antisocial, it is precision.
So, if any of this is starting to resonate with you, if you're kind of seeing yourself in these descriptions, let's completely reframe that feeling of being out of sync with everyone else. Let that just sink in for a moment. If you have spent years, maybe your whole life, feeling like there was something wrong with you for needing alone time, for preferring quiet, for valuing depth, you are not broken. You were just built differently. This is the key takeaway. Once you really get how your brain works, that it's optimized for depth and accuracy, not for noise and social performance, you can stop feeling so lost. You can finally start to work with your nature instead of constantly fighting against it. And this is the ultimate reframe. You weren't falling behind your more outgoing friends. You weren't failing some secret social test. You were, and you still are, operating on a different cognitive level, one that prioritizes a deeper, more thought-out understanding of the world. And if this explainer felt, well, almost uncomfortably accurate, there's a reason for that. There are so many more of these hidden patterns in our psychology. And exploring those unnoticed traits, the ones that show us who we really are, well, that's what this channel is all about.